Hey everyone, in today's buying guide I'm going to talk you through buying rechargeable batteries, the battery charger itself, what the different technologies are that are involved, what the options are, and explain to you why I use what I use. Okay, so if you're using a lot of AA batteries, whether you're a photographer and using lots of flashes and pocket wizards like I do, or remote control cars, or whatever you're using them for, batteries run out quick, they can be expensive, and rechargeables are often the best solution for people. Now, there's different ones out there on the market. First of all, I should say that there's pretty much no rechargeable batteries on the market now that still have a memory effect. Batteries in the past did have a thing where if you used the battery and only ever used it halfway, then recharged it, used it halfway, then recharged it, over time, an artificial barrier would be formed inside the battery. And when you tried to go past that 50%, it just would fail and it would say that it's empty. That was like on the first mobile phones, batteries around that era had them, but nowadays they don't. But one thing a lot of rechargeable batteries suffer from still is memory drain. So over time you recharge your battery and then a few days, few weeks later, it goes flat on you. Now there's a bunch of different ones out on the market that have overcome this problem, but first let me explain to you exactly why that happens. The best analogy that I have personally heard is, think of the batteries as a glass of water. If you leave this out over several days or weeks, it'll slowly evaporate until it's empty. And that's just like the power from your batteries. If you leave them around, then the battery power just depletes. However, if you were to say stick a bunch of cotton wool inside that glass of water, that holds the water and stops it from evaporating. Well, that's effectively what happens if you're using rechargeable batteries that have the special technology. The most famous one out there probably is Sanyo Loops. You can recharge them and then they'll stay charged or 95% charged for months and months. The fact is they do have a kind of webbing in them that acts like the cotton wool in the glass of water. And of course, if you add more cotton wool in, then they'll last even longer. But you have to keep in mind, just like the cotton wool in the glass, the webbing inside the battery does take up space and it takes up capacity. So that said, I actually don't use Loops. I used to use them, but I've found that these ones are better. They're made by Maha, Immedions and PowerXs. Let me talk you through the two of them. First of all, Immedions. These guys are slightly lighter. These guys are around 2250 mAh, which is already higher than the Loops. They're around 1900 to 2000. And these ones have just as good a power saving effect as the Loops. And I find the recharge time really, really great. Just fantastic. For high drain devices, I use the PowerXs. These are actually 2700 mAh and they still have a slow drain. So they have less of that webbing in them than the Immedions, but they have more space for power left. So 2700 is a huge capacity, especially if it's got that extra webbing in it. As I said, the Loops max out at around 2000 or so. They do have a triple X one. I got some of those before, but they're still a lower capacity than these guys. And I found that they got really hot and found that the label on them was cracking. I don't know if that was from heat or a slight expansion. Either way, a bit of a worry. So they're the ones I use, and that's why getting batteries like those are handy. If you're going to use something just now and then, you want to be able to leave it in your bag and know that when you pull it out, the batteries are charged. So in terms of their low discharge, the PowerXs may lose around 1% a day. So if you left them for 3.5 months, then they would go dead. Whereas the Immedions, after a full year of charge, they're still going to have like 85% of the charge left in them. So for pocket wizards, that would actually give you like days of use. The second thing is chargers. Now, old-fashioned chargers had a lot of the chargers still on the market, I should say, not just old-fashioned ones, had a single charging chip or circuit in them that charges the whole unit, whether it's a 2, 4, or 8 battery thing. So you fill it up with batteries and say, these are empty, quarter full, half full, 3/4 full. Once the 3/4 full ones fill up, the battery charger just stops and doesn't send power to any of the others. If it only has a single chip, it's like, think of pouring champagne at the wedding where all the cups go down. As soon as one of them's full, it just stops flowing it to all of the batteries, okay? That's just how it works. Once one is full, it turns it off for all of the others. So then you're left with 2 that are full, but then some that are still right down there at only 25% power because they started off empty. And the pain in the backside thing is when you put them into a flash or some other device, you put in a mix of some fully charged and some almost dead batteries. Once the almost dead ones run dead, all of them stop working. So the fact that the ones that had a lot of charge are still charged doesn't matter. You have 3 fully charged and 1 dead, the set of 4 won't work in the device. Put them back into the charger, the almost fully charged ones charge, and then the last one doesn't get charged because it cuts off, and you're in this cycle. Pain in the backside. Guys, like this one, this is the one I use. It's the Maha MH801D. It's an 8-cell charger, and it has an individual chip or unit inside, and it charges every one of the batteries separately. So you can see an individual readout. You can take them in and out one by one as one charges to put another one in. And this will charge 8 high capacity batteries in just an hour, or you can use a soft charge to do it in 2 hours. I actually own 4 of these. When I'm running my workshops, I could have 200 batteries in circulation on a day. So 4 of these allows me to charge 32 batteries an hour. So I'm only up half the night recharging my batteries. 2 little tips for you when it comes to using and charging your batteries. First, with using, I recommend mark your sets. So put an A on the set of 4, A, or 11111, 22222, whatever, so that you keep them together when you're using them. That way, if you start to find that one flash is always dying quickly, you could identify that one of those 4 batteries is going crappy. You can actually get a battery analyzer, which I could introduce to you as well later if you're interested. But then you know that it's one of that set. If you just have them all mixed up together, you can lose track of which is the dodgy battery. And as I said, as soon as one goes in a unit that you're charging, the whole set will stop working. The other thing when you're recharging your batteries, and it goes for pretty much all batteries, but definitely for AA's, if you want to absolutely maximize the amount of recharges that they have in them, their life effectively, do it at a slow charge. If you do like a 4 or 8 hour charge, you're going to find that they'll get more recharges and their capacity will stay higher for longer. That said, for me, being able to recharge them so quickly in just an hour or 2 on the soft charge is a big benefit, especially if I'm on a shoot and I only brought a certain number of batteries. And the PowerXs are rated to hundreds of recycles anyway. So leave me any questions that you have. For me, the Immedion and PowerX are the obvious option. I power all my AA devices with them. High capacity, low discharge, and the charger that lets me charge so quickly is just fantastic. If you'd like to see any other buying guides on particular topics made, fire away with a comment in the caption below. Also, jump over to the website, sign up for our mailing list, get involved on the community forum, and you can also jump over to Photo News and Reviews and get involved there. Lots of latest breaking tech and gear going on there. Thanks, I'll see you soon.